Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 276. Andrew Eisen here, and in case you were wondering, yes, the weights back here, yeah, I can't lift that. I just load plates on the bar before I podcast, so it makes it look like I actually do stuff. Like, bro, do you even lift? Yeah. Because why would this be behind me if I didn't? I'm not just throwing plates on the bar to show off and not actually exercising. True. So, well, so my goal for this week is to give everyone at least an hour distraction from any terrible things that may be going on in your life or the world at large. So I'm going to try and focus on happy, interesting, mildly amusing topics so that we can be happy and interested and mildly amused for at least an hour. That would be nice, would it not? Yes. So last week I talked about Horizon Zero Dawn. Not Forbidden West, the new one that came out last week, I think. But the old one that came out in 2017, I believe. I played it for the first... I bought the Collector's Edition, the one that includes the Frozen Wilds DLC. I bought that for like $20 a year or so after it first came out. And on my shelf of unplayed games, it sat for several years. Until, pardon me, last May... Lee, Momo, hello. The hiccups. Until last May, where I played it on one of my Sunday streams and quite enjoyed it, and I played a little bit more, and then I got distracted and stopped playing it, and had not played it since about last May. Well, I, as many of you know, am currently dedicating all of my Sunday streams to Trails in the Sky 2nd chapter currently, until I get through some of my damn backlog of not unplayed games, but games I started but didn't finish. So I did finish Lost Judgment. I did finish Wolfenstein and the DLC, The Old Blood, I believe it's called. And I'm working my way through Horizon Zero Dawn now. And last week I told you that being 9 or so months since I'd played the game, I started the game back up, and it was like, you see that place over there, says the NPC? And I said, yes, I do. It says, see the robots and the people? I said, yeah, kill all of them. I said, okay. So I go down there, and they just pounded my ass into the dirt. And I went, well, rusty. And that happened 3 or 4 times, and I realized I don't remember how to play this game. Oh no, I may have to start over, because I don't remember how to play. I didn't start over. It took me an hour or so, but I got back into the swing of things, and have been playing it that week, and quite enjoying it. So that's where we left off. Now, as with Momo, I do see you have a comment. I'll read it here in a sec, so not trying to ignore you, just trying to get through a story, because I'm very easily distracted. Most DLC, like the New Blood DLC for Wolfenstein, is completely separate from the main campaign. It's usually something that you pick out of a menu, or maybe it's something that you have to go to a certain place in the game world to launch into the DLC after you've reached a certain point in the story, right? Frozen Wilds? Nope. The DLC is something you can just wander into fairly early in the game. You wanna experience the Frozen Wilds DLC? Go north. There's nothing gating you out of there. You can just go there. And I was just wandering around, hunting robotic dinosaurs and exploring and picking up doodads and things. And I climbed up into a snowy area, and I just wandered into the Frozen Wilds DLC. And I was like, oh, I hope I'm not like severely under-leveled or something like that. But it's interesting comparing the Frozen Wilds DLC to the main game, because the characters are a bit more. They seem to have taken a bit more care. No, let me put that another way. They're really getting more of a handle on the characterization and writing, I think, because I found the quests and the characters in Frozen Wilds more interesting. Plus, and this may have a bit to do with it, they're better animated. The main cast in the base game, the shot reverse shot thing they do for the I'm talking to an NPC cutscenes, are all canned animations, and they look a little stiff. They're much better in it comes off a lot better and makes the people you're talking to a lot more interesting and alive. So I've quite been enjoying my time in the Frozen Wilds. Although I did come across something that I'm probably going to have to break down and look at an FAQ. You get there's one lady who's like, hey, if you bring me these pieces, I'll upgrade your weapon. I said, okay, here's the pieces. She says, okay, weapon upgrade, go. And I get a new little tutorial for the weapon, which if I complete it, I get some extra experience points. The tutorial is, defeat 5 enemies with an overcharge. What is an overcharge? How do I perform one? I don't know. I can't figure it out. It's an interesting weapon. It basically shoots lightning bolts, but if you shoot too many, it like explodes and blows you up. I don't know if it's one of those things where I just have to be like level 50 so I have enough health to be able to withstand it, and that's an overcharge. But it seems to just blow up after a few shots. I genuinely don't know what I'm doing. So, I felt that portion of the game could use a little bit more explanation. But other than that, yeah, I'm enjoying the game, and still thinking about doing a Breath of the Wild comparison, but golly gosh, that would be a lot of work, and I don't know if I want to do that. So, Anime Momo says, hey Andrew, sorry about last time, wasn't trying to push a review on you. Just curious if you had a certain movie I was... interested on your watch list. No problem, Anime, because I don't I vaguely remember... Oh yeah, you asked me to review something, and I don't remember what it was. But yeah, no, it's feel free to. I can't say I'm open to recommendations for debut review stuff, or if you want me to watch a movie because you're curious to know what I thought. Feel free to leave recommendations. That's totally fine. I can't guarantee I will watch it. I may forget, I may be busy, I may have no interest, but yeah, I also find other people's perspectives on movies I like and movies I don't like to be particularly interesting. So, yeah, no, not a problem at all. So, I had a dream this week. Well, I had several, but I have one in particular that I'd like to tell you about. Cafe Fox says, was overcharged when you'd connect your staff to the back of a robot and overdrive them till they explode? It's been a while. Well, I can stuff my staff up a robot's butt and override it so that it becomes rideable and will attack others, but I don't think it's that. This is actually a weapon that shoots like light balls of lightning, and if you shoot too many in a row, it seems to blow up in your face and kill you, so I'm probably getting the actual name of what it's asking me to do wrong. But... What was I talking about? Dreams! Dream little dreams. Right, okay. So, my sister has the uncanny ability to remember her dreams. with some regularity. Not pieces of them, the entire dream. And she is more than happy to regale you with her dream from beginning to end in exhaustive, exacting detail. And if you remember your dreams, you know they don't make any damn sense. So it's like her describing a really, really bad movie to me. So let me tell you about a dream I had earlier this week. Some might call it a nightmare, but not for me. Imagine Halloween or Friday the 13th, basically a spam in a cabin horror movie scenario, where you have a bunch of people in a location and a slasher who slashes them. This is the setting for my dream. I was among the spam who got slashed. But because it's a dream, I was dead because I got slashed, but also still conscious and aware of, like, the room and the other dead people laying in it and the killer standing there in a Michael Myers mask. But it wasn't Michael Myers. It was like someone playing Michael Myers. If you've ever played or are familiar with Dead by Daylight, that's one of those asynchronous multiplayer games where 4 of you are playing the spam in the cabin and one of you plays the supernatural killer who tries to kill everybody, right? They actually got the license to use Michael Myers in that game, but he looks kind of off. And I think that maybe that's what my dream was doing, because the Michael Myers mask didn't look quite right. Now you may be thinking, well, Andrew, you were murdered in your dream. How is that not a nightmare? Because that's not how I nightmare. My nightmares are all... it's interesting, a lot of nightmares are being chased, or public speaking, or being naked in front of a crowd of people. And considering how insanely body shy I am, you'd think that would be one of mine, but it's not. I've never had... Maybe it would be a nightmare, but I've literally never had that nightmare. So, yay me. You know, trying to run but being unable to move, falling, you know, that kind of stuff. No, my nightmares, and here's a grim glimpse into my psychology. My nightmares are all losing control of myself and lashing out, verbally or physically, hurting other people, emotionally or physically. That's my nightmare. Uncomfortable yet? Well, let's get back to the funny dream I had. So I and, a half dozen other people were murdered by someone in a slightly off-brand Michael Myers mask. And we're all laying there dead, and Michael Myers is standing there, stoically, overlooking his handiwork. And you know that trope in horror movies where a villain will, like, stab their victim, and they're like, "Ow, I've been stabbed and I'm bleeding because I've been stabbed and I'm gonna die from the bleeding of the stabbing, ow." And the bad guy, the villain, does this thing where they go, shh. You know, that creepy, psychopathic, completely lacking in empathy, stop making noise, shush. When the victims are like, "Oh, my intestines have spilled out onto my lap and stained my new shoes." You know? So the Michael Myers analog in this dream is standing over my corpse and the corpses of several other people and goes, "Shh." But the weird thing is the mask, which is the Michael Myers expressionless mask, instantly changes to a pursed-lipped, shish expression for the shh, and then flips back. Like not smooth, but like a complete head replacement. Just suddenly here, then back again. Looked really stupid. So anyway, Michael Myers goes, shh. And someone in the room, we're all dead, keep in mind, dreams are weird, goes, shh, back at him. And Michael Myers was about to turn around and leave, but turned back to the room and went, shh. And then someone else goes, shh. And Michael Myers, shh. And they're, shh, 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 shh. And just this battle of shh from all these dead people shushing the shusher, and the shusher trying to shush the dead people. And I woke up giggling. Like, seriously, I woke up probably before I needed to get up. It was like 6:30 in the morning. And I got up, I used the restroom, I went back to bed, and I'm thinking about this stupid damn dream, and I start giggling to myself because it's so damn funny. Shh, 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 shh. It's this shish fight. And I'm giggling so hard that I'm afraid like the people sleeping in the apartment adjacent to mine are gonna wake up and hear my dumbass giggling about shishing. So that was a dream I had earlier this week about being murdered by a knockoff Michael Myers who was trying to be creepy, and the victims just kept throwing it back. Shh, 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 shh. It's just, you know. Dreams are weird. So, but I know what you're all here for. You're here because you're thirsty. And well, Capcom this week delivered the quenchingness. So, is it this? No, that's not it, but it's still adorable. Okay, so let me scoot. So Capcom released a very short teaser for Resident Evil, Street Fighter 6, and it is the horniest video game teaser I've seen in quite some time. So it starts out with Ryu's fist. It's like, oh, because, you know, fist. Which, you know, I mean, so far so good. And then it moves into it, and then it pans up to his forearm. And he flexes his forearm, and the muscle bulges, and it's slicked with sweat, and the camera's doing this slow pan over the muscular forearm. And then it goes over his shoulder, and he's like rolling his shoulder and flexing his chest and his shoulder. And then it moves on to his toes. His sexy toes. And his toes flex and glisten with a sheen of sweat. And then it moves on to his Chris Redfield physique. Look how tiny his head is. Look at his tiny head. And you get this broad chest with the muscular arms, and he flexes, and you can see the individual ropes of pectoral muscle bulging beneath the skin. And then you get a shot of his muscular back, and you can see his latissimus dorsi and traps and delts and everything, and he flexes and all sweaty, slow panning around. And then you get a good crotch shot. And I've seen people on the internet that they're like, Ryu makes quite the impression. Don't stare too long. The kid on the left, nobody cares. And of course, it's not just Ryu It's bearded Ryu. Sexy, sexy bearded Ryu, which I think was one of the additional skins that was introduced in Street Fighter V, if I'm not mistaken. I actually tried to look this up. I could not figure out where the hell bearded Ryu first popped up. But I think it was an extra costume in Street Fighter V. And, of course, we get a good shot of his abs right there. And I think that's it. And you may notice, okay, we've got abs, right? We all appreciate a handsome midriff. We've got his handsome bearded face. We've got the full package. We've got a broad muscular back. We've got broad muscular chest with a tiny, tiny head. We've got toes for all our feet fetishists. We've got shoulders and arms. We've got forearms, and we've got those who are into fisting. We've got you covered, but no butt shot. Capcom, where's Ryu's butt? Ah. Well, I suppose you can't fully quench our thirst. You have to leave us thirsty for something, and I guess we will remain thirsty for Ryu butt until Capcom is damn good and ready to give us glistening, muscular Ryu butt. I really enjoyed the teaser, Capcom, and his tiny little head. You surely know physiques, and most companies would be like, chest, arms, back, we're good. But no, Capcom went the extra mile and gave us toesies, gave us sexy, sexy toes, and bearded Ryu, which we were all horny for when that was introduced in 5. At some point, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Lee asks, why do you want to look at his butt? Why wouldn't you want to look at his butt? To see it as glistening and muscular as everything else, of course. Yeah, it says butt shots are why Cammy exists. Maybe. Oh, God. But I saw this teaser this week, and much like my shish dream, I just started giggling. It's the funny. I mean, I would show it to you, but it'd probably, Capcom would probably claim my entire podcast, so I just use screenshots. But I kid you not, it's all, you have to see this to believe it, because it's this dramatic, loving, close-up, slow pan across this glistening sheen of flexing muscle. It is the most hilariously horny thing I have ever seen. Oh my God, that brightened my day for half a minute. I tell you what. Seriously, how funny would it be? Because the whole thing is each one of these shots. Like seriously, I am not kidding. You have to see this. So it starts here and he does the fist clench. And then it moves to this shot, and this, it's panning, and he's working his fist, and you can see all the muscles in his forearm rippling. And the same thing with the he does a bit of a shoulder roll and flexes his deltoids and his bicep, and then it goes to his toes, and he literally flexes his toes, like he's like, ugh, toes. And I actually put my foot up in the air, but it was blocked by Ryu's own sexy toes, so whatever. And then, full shot of his broad chest, and you can see the individual muscles rippling in his pectorals, and same thing with the back. And, yep. And then imagine it goes to a butt shot, and you see his butt just clench. That'd be hilarious. Capcom knows not to give us everything we want. I can imagine that happening, and Cammy's like off camera going, but the butt's my deal. You jackass! Let's see. He needs to do butt exercise like Patrick gets steel butt low. I don't know what that's a reference to. Cass has a love-hate relationship with Street Fighter. I'm old enough to remember the original Street Fighter. Not Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter in the arcades. It's not very good. Street Fighter 2 is where it really took off. To the point where a lot of people don't even remember the third one. Like, was there a third one? There was. No one really remembers it, though. Some do, but... Anyway, so can't wait to see what the next what you tease us with next, Capcom. Oh man, I don't know who this goober on the left is. Yeah, this guy. I don't know. I don't recognize him if he's from one of the other games, but he. I guess we're catering to the pretty boy band demo instead of, I guess, hot daddy Ryu. Because, man, I remember the internet going nuts over bearded Ryu. They're like, oh, yes! I'm like, really? Just the beard, huh? All right. So that gave me a giggle. So two things this week that gave me a giggle. What did I think of the logo? I thought it looked... I didn't take a screenshot of it, but it's Street Fighter, so it's an S and an F in like a shield. Looks kind of like the Warner Brothers shield, just with an SF in it instead of a WB. I saw an article on Kotaku or somewhere that people were showing that it looks very similar to some existing logo art. So, was it stolen? I don't know. It's not very inspiring. It's just an SF and a shield, but they could do better. Whatever. I don't think that I think just call it Street Fighter 6. There's no need to. I've never really cared for the abbreviations. Like, remember in Terminator 2, if you are as old as I am, when Terminator 2 was T2. I'm like, I'm spitting on myself. Just Terminator 2. Don't do that. X-Men 2. Remember when they changed it to X2? It's like, why are you... No, don't change it to SF. It's just Street Fighter 6. Just make a Street Fighter 6 logo. I hopefully Nintendo doesn't like TLOZ BOTW 2. It's like just stop. But yeah, the logo was the least sexy thing of the trailer. I mean, it was like wall to wall, 30 seconds of sexy, and then they got to the logo and it was unsexy. It was like dumping a pail of ice water on my crotch. I tell you what. Damn you, Capcom! If I can't be horny for my video game characters, what can I be horny for? Real people? Pshaw! Pshaw, I say! Cafe Fox, I think they rushed something out. They probably haven't completely finished the actual logo. They probably spent all their time on the horny trailer, and they're like, okay, done. And like, where's the logo? What? We're trying to sell a video game. People need... Oh, shit. They're like, Street Fighter. There, logo. That, Cafe Fox made... You may be right. They may have just... completely and like, oh damn, we need a logo. Ugh. So, and that's what they came up with in the literal 11th hour. So that's headcanon. That is canon now. So let's see. So I finally saw Spider-Man No Way Home. And I'm, for right now, going to avoid spoilers, so if you haven't seen it and haven't been spoiled, you don't need to leave just yet. I'm just going to talk about the movie generally. More my experience going to see the movie. So, I'm a big superhero dork, and I love me my superhero movies. As such, I really would have liked to see Spider-Man No Way Home when it came out in the middle of December, some 10 weeks ago. But I did not. Why did I not, you ask? Although if you watch this podcast, you probably already know. I didn't because while I'm not comfortable going to the theater, I am comfortable going to the drive-in. Because I can see the movie and stay the hell away from people. Who are nowhere near as sexy as sweaty, flexing, bearded Ryu. And his flexing toes. And his low-angle crotch shot. I hope Capcom had as much fun making that conceiving and making that teaser as I did, because you know what's funny is you'll often hear me complain. Tangent time. You'll often hear me complain at E3 or any of the video game publishers' digital presentations that game trailers that don't tell you what the game is suck. And you might be thinking, well, Andrew, this teaser really doesn't give you any indication of what the game is. It's just two dudes standing there. Well, I mean, they're squaring off. You might assume it's a fighting game. So, I agree. From that perspective, it's not very good. But one, it is a teaser, and two, it's also a teaser for Street Fighter Part 6. So, which isn't even the 6th game in the series, if you want to start counting spin-offs and different editions and such. So I've also said that you can... Hold on. My nose is starting to run. Hang on. Sexy runny nose. Alright, I've also said that you can get away with that kind of a thing if whatever your IP is a known quantity, right? Like the first teaser for Bayonetta 3 was basically just Bayonetta dodging a bunch of bullets and then the logo, and you're like, oh, cool, more Bayonetta. Well, we've had 2 Bayonettas, so I know what Bayonetta is. I have a pretty good idea of what to expect from a third one. Metroid Prime 4. We always seen it as like a logo, which looked better than the Street Fighter 6 logo, by the way. Not particularly imaginative, but functional. Obvious, but functional. Gets the job done. But it's Metroid Prime 4, which is the 4th entry in a spin-off series of a larger series. We know what Metroid is. We have a pretty good... Even if they don't show anything about it, they're just saying, hey, look, we're making another Metroid. It'll be here in several years. Get hype, I guess. So, being that this is Street Fighter 6, I'm willing to, cut them some slack when it comes to showing off the game. Still, even if you knew nothing about Street Fighter, 1, it's called Street Fighter, and 2, it's 2 dudes that look about ready to punch each other in the face. You can probably guess that it's a fighting game. But it is true. If this were a new IP, I'd have probably been annoyed. Especially if it was part of like some digital presentation, the point of which is to get me to pry open my musty moth-filled wallet and give the publisher my money. You have to be crazy to get hots for Street Fighter characters? We all go a little mad sometimes. I mean, That Blanca, man. Chemistry is electric. If it's not clear, the crazy. I agree. Getting horny for fictional digital characters is silly, but I guess it's fun. You know, I mean, I am, to be clear, laughing at it because I think it's really silly. But I mean, hey, you know, as long as whatever turns your crank ain't hurting you or anyone else, I'm cool with it if you are. I mean, you could be turned on by balls of yarn for all I care. It'd be like, hey, whoop, hang on. Hang on. Ugh. See this? Oh, yeah. You want this, don't you? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't do it for me, but if it does it for you, hey, great. Why does he have knitting in his... I made this myself. See, my knitting is only so far as I can, like, knit this isn't even anything. It's just rows of knit. I mean, maybe it could be a bib. It's not going to be anything. I actually knitted this as a prop for something. I don't even remember what. I think it was probably for a video at some point. I don't remember what, though. Grandma taught me to knit. So, I've only used the... I was, why? I was in a play called, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. And I played the boss of the company, J.B. Bigley or something like that. And his secret shame, you know, this CEO of this big corporation, is that he knitted in order to, you know, find his place of Zen. So I had my grandmother teach me how to knit so that I could knit on stage during the performance, bring, you know, realism to the role, you know. So that's how and why I learned to knit. It's nothing I've ever really used, other than knitting something. I made I think I've used it like twice in my YouTube career, my ability to knit. So I think it was I think I was making fun of people getting overly upset and blaming random people, and someone was like the ire of... Someone was like, screw this person because of something completely unrelated. So I made a video going, I dropped a stitch. Screw this person. You know, I think that was the joke. And I don't remember. I think it's called The Perfect Scapegoat or something like that. And I think the person was angry at Notch, the Minecraft guy, who later we found out was a real scumbag. So it was misplaced. But yeah, seriously, screw that guy. He sucks. Lee wants another Marvel versus Capcom. Capcom slipping? I don't know in what respect you mean, but they've put out a fair number of games recently that I like, you know, the Resident Evil games and such, so, you know, they've been doing all right in my book. Hopefully they're not, like, you know, abusing their employees like, you know, other publishers we could name, like, you know, Activision and Ubisoft, and sadly others. Lee wants to see someone get upset and blame me. It's... Someone once called me everything that's wrong with America. This was a YouTube comment I got on one of my videos. I don't remember which one. But it said, you are everything that is wrong with America. I was like, wow, it's pretty accomplished. Everything. It's a lot. What was I talking about? Oh, Spider-Man. So I wanted to see Spider-Man when it came out in December. Was going to go to the drive-in. Now, the drive-in works on a double feature. You pay $10, you go in, you watch 2 movies, you go home. When Spidey came out, it was double featuring with itself. I didn't want to watch Spidey twice. I just wanted to watch it once. I mean, I'm sure it would be... I was like, I'm sure it's good, and I'm sure I'll maybe see it a second time someday, but not immediately after watching it. So I said, okay, well, special fee. They wanted as many screens as possible. I get it. Big movies, sure. Second week, still double featuring with itself. Third week, still double featuring with itself. Fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th week, which was last week, finally double featuring with something other than itself. Incidentally, Uncharted. Another Tom Holland movie, so that makes sense as a double feature. Ha-ha! Finally! Finally I can go see Spidey-Man No Way Home. So I made plans to go see it Tuesday night, because Tuesday morning I have an early meeting, and Thursday morning I have an early meeting. So if I see it Tuesday night, then I can sleep in Wednesday, because I don't have early morning meetings. So Tuesday rolls around, I'm excited, I'm finally gonna go see Spider-Man, and it rains. So I didn't go see Spider-Man. I was like, well, it's been 10.5 weeks. I can wait one more day. So, next day, I checked the forecast. No rain. Not even a 10% chance. Just clear skies. Then I checked the other zip code where the theater is just to make sure. Same thing. Clear skies. Clear, gorgeous blue skies. At least I'm sure they're blue if you turn on the lights. Yes, I know what the actual color blue in the sky is, but it's the light from the sun and out refracts off the atmosphere. I get it. So I go. The movie starts at 7. I try to get there at 6:30 because that's when they open, but it's standstill damn traffic for some reason, and I don't get there until about 6:50. But that's okay, because they didn't open the ticket booth until 3 minutes before the movie starts. I don't know if Jerry or whoever was manning the ticket booth was just late or what, but that was irritating. Anyway, so I buy my ticket, I go in, I pick a really nice spot because, it's Wednesday night, there's very few people at the drive-in. Probably, like 15 cars total amongst 3 different screens, so Spidey only had like 7, 8 cars there, maybe. So first movie is Uncharted. What happens halfway through the movie? Starts raining. So I'm at the drive-in watching Uncharted with my windshield wipers going. Not the funnest way to watch a movie through windshield wipers. But also not the greatest movie anyway. I didn't think Uncharted would be that good. It's probably going to get a sequel, because the first game wasn't that good, and it got a sequel. A sequel that was pretty good. So maybe Uncharted 2, the movie, will be pretty good. Maybe it'll follow the trajectory of the games. Now, luckily, while I was sitting in there in the rain, or after the movie finished, it was still drizzling. I looked on the weather app on my phone. Still said no rain. What was funny is I got out and I stare up at the sky, and there's just like one rain cloud just hovering over the theater. Like, it's patchy clouds, but it's fairly clear skies all around. Just big damn rain cloud hovering over the movie theater. But luckily, it stopped raining and did not even drizzle during No Way Home, which is what I went to the drive-in to see specifically anyway. Now, some of you may know that last week I finally saw The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 because I figured I know that the villains from Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, the Lizard and Electro, are in the movie because, I saw the advertising. I also knew that villains from the Raimi series was there, but I'd already seen those. So I figured I should watch the Amazing Spider-Man movies so that I know who the Lizard... Well, I mean, I know who Lizard and Electro, but in the context of Amazing Spider-Man movies, who these characters are. So if they do any, in-jokes or something, I'll get them. So I watched the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and I recorded... I did little review videos. No, not little, they're both about half an hour. I released my first review this week, and... Well, The Amazing Spider-Man is bad. It's a bad movie. Yeah, I was right to skip it the first time. I didn't see it back in 2012 because I thought it looked bad and I heard it was bad. Well, finally saw it 10 years later, and by gum, it were bad. Did it help my enjoy? However, did watching my review for Amazing Spidey 2, I'll probably post this next week. Did watching these movies enhance my enjoyment of No Way Home? Yes. Yeah, I'm actually glad I watched them. Because you get to, because now I know the backstory and the arc of Max Dillon and Kirk Connors and the Lizard and Electro, and where they started and where they end up in this movie, and that I found valuable. Not necessary, but I'm glad I watched them. They did quite enhance my enjoyment of the film, which overall I really quite liked. I thought Spidey No Way Home was a lot of fun. Still not spoiling anything because I know at least two people who regularly watch my videos, although I think both of them have been thoroughly spoiled, and frankly so was I. In fact, the only thing in the movie that surprised me was the mid-credit sequence. That I had not that there was one, I assumed there was one. I always assume there's going to be one, but I didn't know what it was going to be. That I had not heard. Pretty much everything else about the movie, I had heard. Did you know that? Yeah, sadly, yeah. What's funny is, I was going to go see it on Tuesday, remember, but it rained. Well, Wednesday is when both Marvel and Sony said, okay, full spoilers, we're just going to start talking about everything in the movie now. Because it's been 2.5 months, right? Everyone's seen the movie. So the day I finally go see the movie is when they just are like, all right, open season on spoilers. Whatever they didn't tell me anything I didn't already guess and didn't already know. And it's a shame. I would have liked to have seen it 10.5 weeks ago and not known the things I did know going in. I would have liked to have been surprised. That would have been nice. Oh well. Also the general structure of the movie I was not aware of, so that was nice. I knew, the basic setup of the trailers is Spidey asks Doctor Strange to erase everyone's memory that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and the spell gets screwed up, and villains from the past movies enter the world, and I guess he fights them. Well, there's more to it than that. And the more to it is what I didn't know, so that was nice to see. So, again, a fun, entertaining movie. One that if you spend too much time actually thinking about, raises some questions. I hope it comes out on Disney Plus or something, because there are scenes in the movie that take place at night, and it was hard to see what was going on. I never really got a good look at the lizard because he hangs out in shadows all the time. So I honestly couldn't get a good look at him because in the drive-in, any scene that's fairly dark is really hard to see at the drive-in because of all the ambient light from the city. So I would like to see the movie again in the privacy of my own home, on my TV, so I can actually see what's going on. But other than that, yeah, I enjoyed the movie and had a kick, going back and reading all of the different opinions on the movie from the past 2.5 months, and seeing how they aligned and diverged from my own. And it was interesting. A lot of people saw the arrival of villains from other universes as a particular metaphor. And they're like, I don't think this totally works. And I agree, but I don't think that... I'm being very cagey here, because if I tell you what the metaphor is, that might spoil something. I think it's really interesting looking at it from that point of view, but I don't think that was the filmmaker's intent. Still a valid way of looking at the movie, but I think that's one of the reasons that metaphor doesn't really hold up, is because probably wasn't the intention of the filmmakers. I get the feeling that the movie isn't actually saying anything, which is unfortunate because the setup and how the heroes respond to it is genuinely really fertile ground for some very interesting topical discussion. And when viewing the movie through any of those lenses, it's really a fascinating idea. But I didn't get the sense that the movie was actually engaging with any of that. I don't think it thought of any of that. Didn't make the movie still a lot of fun. Still really enjoyed it. But personally, I think a movie that's a lot of fun but also has something interesting to say is an even better movie. Can you still have a fun, entertaining, absolutely worthwhile movie that has absolutely nothing to say? Yes. Yes, absolutely you can. But I personally am of the opinion that if it also has something to say, that makes it even better. But Spidey No Way Home... You remember when we were in, if you aren't still already, in like grade school, maybe even high school, where, actually more grade school, where there'd be a short book, and the back of the book would have questions for discussion in them? It's like, what did you think of Benny the Bear? And, how he acted towards Susie, and why. Those kind of jumping off discussions, to open a dialogue, for parents and their children to discuss things, like morals. It kind of felt like that, where the movie had something, like kind of nudges at, or touches on, or... says, there's some stuff here. What do you think about it? I don't have anything to say about it. I'm not saying anything about any of this, but, it's there if you want to talk about it. It kind of feels like that, at best. But more than likely, it's probably like, nah, we just had villains from other worlds, and the good guys fight them, and anything beyond that, culturally relevant things that you... want to read into it, you can if you want. We didn't have anything to say about that. That's kind of what it felt like to me. But still, very fun movie. I did quite enjoy it. Let's see. You're gonna know who everyone is if you read the old comics. I mean, yeah. I mean, I know who Kurt Connors / the Lizard is. I know who Matt Dillon slash well, that's one of Electro, like not no Max Dillon, right? Yeah, I think it's Max Dillon. Ugh. I think a couple people have been Electro. So yeah. I mean, do you have to have seen the Raimi or the Amazing Spider-Man movies to is it Mark Webb or did he? I don't remember. To enjoy No Way Home? No. Will it enhance your enjoyment? I think so. But yeah, I mean, do you know who Spider-Man is? Okay, because this version of Spider-Man, they've never done the whole Uncle Ben thing. They've never shown him get bit by the spider, which is fine because it's Spider-Man. I mean, we've got a new Batman movie coming out. Are they gonna show his parents dying again? Probably. Do they need to? No. No, I probably not. Not for the vast majority of audiences. Batman's culturally pretty well known. Everyone's got his backstory. Don't really need to rehash it again. And I kind of like how the Tom Holland Spider-Man's been handled in the films that he's been in. Yeah, I got bit by a radioactive spider. There was an Uncle Ben once. Yeah, whatever. We know all this. This is stuff we all know. It's Spider-Man. We don't need to dwell on it. So yeah, if you're familiar with the comic books and you don't want to watch Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2, you don't have to. But if you do, will it enhance your enjoyment? Yeah, I think so. Just be aware that, at the very least, Amazing Spider-Man, not a good movie. In fact, genuinely bad movie, in my humble opinion. I'm sure there are many people who really like the Amazing Spider-Man films, but I'm not one of them. And I'll go into what I thought of Amazing Spider-Man 2 next week or shortly thereafter. I have the footage, I just need to edit it. So, theaters are better, seems like. Sound and picture-wise, yeah. Yeah, you're going to have a better viewing experience as long as someone doesn't stand up in front of you or, have their cell phone light on all the time or something. That's, I'll tell you where, the picture is dimmer. That's definitely a con for drive-in compared to theaters. But on the bright side, you don't have to worry about other people because they're in their own cars away from you. They can, they can crinkle their jujubes or talk or kick their seats if they want. That's not going to affect your enjoyment. I mean, unless they literally drive their car into you or some asshole starts honking their horn or turning on their high beams or something like that. Which I've had the headlights go as someone decides to leave in the middle of a movie. I've seen headlights go across the screen, which is annoying, but I have never seen anyone honk or crash their car into anyone else during a drive-in, so. But I have had the back of my seat kicked. I have heard people talking during movies and crinkling their packages and dicking around on their phones. So that's always been an issue. And also, vaccinated though I am, I don't trust anyone else to be, because too many people in my life who I would have thought otherwise have showed me that they can't be trusted in those regards. So people I don't even know, I'm even more wary of. So I'm not sitting in an enclosed room with a bunch of other people. I'm not going to do that. But drive-in, where I can sit in my own car in my own space away from other people, yeah, I'll do that. Even if the picture is dim and can be hard to see exactly what's going on in the night scenes. The 90s series Spider-Man, the cartoon, right? Yeah, I remember that. I watched that too. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So, that's it for the podcast tonight. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope you all get to see Spider-Man, and I hope you all like it. Unless you have absolutely no interest, then, you know, I hope you see something you are interested in. So tomorrow, noon Pacific Standard Time, we are continuing our journey through Trails in the Sky, second chapter. And I actually had to spend time this week replaying part of it, and I'll go into why and how much I had to replay tomorrow afternoon. But just know that we are picking up exactly where we left off last week. Really, the only difference is I changed the quartz loadout is a bit different, and Sherazard is one level higher than she was. It's just the way it worked out. But I'll go into exactly why I replayed stuff and what I replayed and that tomorrow. So, until then, make yourselves comfortable and sit around in your undies watching that 30-second Street Fighter 6 teaser over and over and over and over again. Capcom, you silly widgets. Alright, hope you'll join me tomorrow for some more Trails in the Sky. Until then, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.